10. Oklahoma State 51-5 in that same period. When you come on to play at Oklahoma State, there's a sign that says, losers quit when they're tired, winners quit when they've won. Play angry versus home court winners today in Stillwater. Who punks who?
That is former head coach Mark Adams. I'm Mark Neely. Great to have you with us. Cowboys in the white have the game's first possession, and off we go from Stillwater. Over the top for Mitchell Solomon, but that's deflected by Nerzier. Nerzier getting the start. Shaq Morris coming off the bench today for Wichita State. First start of the year for Nerzier.
Not unusual for Greg Marshall to make that move. Nerzier is much improved, and Shaq Morris can be up and down effort-wise. Maybe a little brain surgery today in Stillwater.
There's a Nerzier three off the left side, and a rebound pulled down by Tavares Shai. Oklahoma State and Wichita State both come in at 7-1 on the year. Shockers have won their last 3. Cowboys have won their last 4 in a row.
And Wichita State not allowing the Cowboys to get in their half-court offense. Took 15 seconds for them to set their half-court offense.
Smith passes for Solomon, who lays it in off the glass for the game's first points.
Mitchell Solomon, one of those unsung heroes. Very good defensively, number 41 in white for Oklahoma State.
Solomon has now hit his last 16 consecutive attempts from the floor. He had a foul on the floor on Cam McGriff for Oklahoma State.
You know, Mark, it's going to be really interesting, especially listening to Greg Marshall before the game, as to who lands the first punch. I mean, Oklahoma State dominated Wichita State early and often in the game in Wichita. Today, Wichita State wants to come out and deliver the first blow.
Pass for Frankamp, stolen by Shine, and Tavares Shine lays it in. And a quick 4-0 lead for Oklahoma State.
And early on, this looks like the start from last season's game when Juwan Evans just took over.
Shamet, a little push from Kendall Smith.
Oklahoma State very aggressive defensively as Shine jumps the route right there. That's a telegraph pass. That's playing soft. That's not playing angry, but a really good job for Shine to jump in the passing lane.
Shaq Morris has checked in for the Shockers. Shamet going baseline, passes cross court. That's in the air from Zach Brown and around and in.
And Zach Brown's really improved offensively. There you saw his 3-ball effort.
Solomon. That was not touched by a Shocker. Out of bounds, last touch by the Cowboys and Solomon.
And now Shaq Morris back in the game along with Ronald Nerzier. A little bit of size right here for Wichita State.
The pressure in the backcourt from Shai, but brought across by Shamet. Nerzier setting the screen, but there's Solomon helping out. Shine got a hand on it. Loose ball on the floor. Solomon, a whistle, jump ball. And the possession arrow will keep it with Wichita State.
You just saw the value of Mitchell Solomon. He's a guy that came up. They were able to keep Landry Shamet on the sideline. He's known as the best defender on this basketball team, a real winner. Mitchell Solomon, number 41 for Oklahoma State. I love the way he moves his feet defensively, especially for a big on-ball defense against the pick and pop.
Back cut underneath, Shamet for Morris, who gets it batted out of bounds. Shot clock is just at 3.
And they all know it's 3 seconds. Greg Marshall let them know.
Frankamp has to put it up. Didn't draw iron, and even though Shamet had it momentarily, it's a shot clock violation.
Well, the Oklahoma State defense so far has been smothering. The full court pressure. I like this, especially when you get that type of pregame talk. Come out, get your full court pressure going a little bit.
That one knocked free by Brown, but the Cowboys keep possession. Waters faces up with Shamet defending.
And Shamet is giving him nothing.
Then away from the ball, Nerger gets called. A little push on McGriff.
That Landry-Shamet-Lindy Waters matchup is really interesting to watch. Shamet in full denial of Lindy Waters, taking away touches from him. Number 11 in black versus 21 in white. There's the matchup.
Waters pass deflected by Shamet, but right to Shine. Tipped by Frankamp, run down on the sideline by Zach Brown. Shockers looking for their first lead. Frankamp a 2. Got it.
He's playing more like he did in high school. Played high school basketball in Wichita. He's hunting his shot. He's more aggressive. He's connected to Landry-Shamet. I like their chemistry as a 1-2 punch.
Answering is Kendall Smith, the transfer from Cal State Northridge, the graduate transfer.
That point guard with size that can see over defenders, get a good look at the basket.
And Smith 6'3". Here's a 3 from Shaq Morris. Rebounded off the floor by Kendall Smith.
Shaq Morris shooting 50% from behind the arc on the season.
That's a long 2. And Kendall Smith with another bucket for the Cowboys.
And Kendall Smith can create his own shot. And right now, Oklahoma State picking on that matchup.
Frankamp loose, taken by the Cowboys.
3 white jerseys on the floor, only 2 black. So far, Oklahoma State playing angrier than Wichita State.
Shine a 3. Tavares Shine, who missed a big chunk of last year due to a back problem. Drains his 11th 3 of the season, was shooting under 30% from beyond the arc. That's going to go against Kendall Smith. Timeout. It's an early 6-point lead for the Pokemon to start today. And they lead it by 6. Mark Adams, what does Wichita State need to do to get things going offensively?
No, Shaq Morris has to get down the block and establish a low block position against Mitchell Solomon. Now, that's easier said than done. But Greg Marshall doesn't want to settle for jump shots. He wants to pound the ball inside. And Shaq Morris, number 24 in black for Wichita State, is the solution for that issue.
Shockers ball out of the timeout. Wichita State 2 of 5 from the floor to start the game. Here is Shaq Morris. Solomon had some help defense from McGriff. In the game, the catch and shoot 3 missed by Austin Reeves. A 1 and done. Morris knocked to the floor. Here's Averett now in the game. Brandon Averett at the point guard spot for the Cowboys. He's just 5'11", Mark, but he is definitely a spark plug.
He brings pace to the game. That's what I like about it. He gets up and down and forces you to get back defensively.
Ball's back in the hands of Averett with 5 on the shot clock. That's a 2 from Averett. Nerger able to finally collect the rebound.
The last 2 possessions, offensively and defensively, more like Wichita State. I like what they did the last possession offensively, getting it inside like that.
Nice pass from Shamet, but Nerger can't finish. Knocked away. Averett has a little trouble coming up with the dribble, but takes it to the left elbow, shoots, but off the left side.
And Mitchell Solomon is changing the game from his position defensively as the 5-man. He communicates so well. Watch 41 in white. He's matched up with Shaq Morris.
Pass from Nerger is behind Zach Brown. And that's already the 4th turnover for the Shockers. Well, 'tis the season. Holiday Hoops back in. We'll have a great matchup next Sunday on ESPN. Roy Williams and 11th ranked North Carolina in Knoxville taking on Rick Barnes' number 24 Tennessee Vols. That's 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Joel Berry III, I saw him earlier this season. What a great ringmaster. Theo Pinson, just a really good basketball player. I like that North Carolina team a lot.
Lucas Gasson in the game for the Cowboys. Picked up his dribble, wants some help. And McGriff back to Averett. 5, make that 6 to shoot now. Averett another long 2, this time off the back rim. Brown nearly ran into his own man.
Wichita State showing defensive life now. They look like themselves. There's Willis.
And an offensive foul underneath on Darrell Willis.
One of the big emphasis points for Wichita State coming into this game is to make layups against Mike Boynton's defense. His first season as the head coach here, he's 7-1 out of the shoot. That's as good as Eddie Sutton when he started off his first 8 games, by the way.
Just 35 years old, Mike Boynton. He was on the staff last year for head coach Brad Underwood. So in his 2nd season overall in Stillwater, and first as the head coach.
The 4th youngest major head coach in the country, Mike Boynton.
McGriff dropped it back. DeZagua driving, skips it. Here's a 3 from Carroll.
It's 1 and done for Oklahoma State on the offensive end. That's good news for Wichita State fans.
But offensively, they've had some 1 and dones as well, the Shockers. Kelly
Walk.
traveled 5 turnovers inside the first 7 minutes.
You know, Greg Marshall really emphasized finishing layups, finishing simple plays in the paint right now. And I think Wichita State is in a hurry as you look at Greg Marshall. What a job he's done at Wichita State. Of course, the Final Four in 2013, 35-0 season start in 2015. He's done a tremendous job.
Shockers, after 70-plus years in the Missouri Valley Conference, in their first year now in the American. 3 from McGriff, well off the left side. Last 3 minutes, neither team has scored, both in a drought. Reeves harassed by Averett, who does what he does best. Kicked into the backcourt. Not an over and back, as that was deflected by Oklahoma State. Now a chance for numbers. Reeves driving it to the hoop. He barrels right into Gasson, and Gasson will pick up the foul. Lucas Gasson, 7 feet tall, but he's just 220 pounds out of the Netherlands.
Well, these are 2 teams, Mark, that just play nasty, stingy defense. They're both holding their opponents under 40% on the season from regular field goal percentage. Both of them in the low 30s to high 20s in 3-point field goal percentage. They both can block shots, nearly 4 and 5 block shots per game. They mirror each other in many ways defensively. And you're seeing Oklahoma State come out. And Wichita State's all about playing angry. Hey, what, Oklahoma State, those Cowboys look pretty bad right now.
Sophomore Austin Reeves, one of the fan favorites in Wichita. You notice that that shoulder, the right shoulder wrapped. He had a little issue with that.
Yeah, he's had a lot of surgeries on that shoulder, a history of injuries. But I talked to him before the game. He feels really good. It's the best he's felt in years, he said. Boy, smart player. Austin Reeves, number 12 in black for Wichita State.
We'll have to keep on the an eye on the Wichita State bench. Samaje Haynes-Jones has had a flu-like symptoms. We'll see how much he plays today for the Shockers.
Oklahoma State can't score in their half-court set.
That's a carry on Reeves. Both teams have gone a little cold from the field, but right now it's the Cowboys up by 4.
Hey, man, how about that game?
The what?
Oh, game.
Well, last year these teams met at Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita. It was a 17-point win for Oklahoma State. They had a lot of driving lay-ins, 3-pointers. Jeffrey Carroll, a nice game, a dunk, also an offensive rebound. And the issues for Wichita State in that game, Mark Adams, gave up way too many offensive rebounds, too many made threes, and their transition defense was not very good. And
it led to a coaching decision another week later when Greg Marshall decided that Landry Shamet was better and their team was better when he had the ball in his hands. That game started that coach thinking in those terms of putting the ball in Landry Shamet's hands, let him play point guard, let him lead the team.
Oklahoma State built a 6-point lead and hit 5 of their first 6 shots, but now they have missed their last 8 from the field. But the Shockers have only been able to trim that deficit down to 4 points.
Been starting to look more like a half-court defensive struggle like Wichita State doesn't mind having with anybody.
Shamet clears some space. His 3 off the front rim.
Look at the black jerseys get back defensively. There's just nothing easy.
Nothing easy. That's the key term. But that's a travel. Averett put the ball under his arm. He gets called for the walk.
I wish officials would call more of that. I see guys constantly catch the basketball, step, step, step again, and never get called for it. I don't care if they're outside of the play. It's a walk. You got to call it.
It's the 3rd Oklahoma State turnover. Wichita State, though, has already committed 7. We still have 11 minutes to play in the first half.
Watch for Darrell Willis. There he is.
Willis spinning around Carroll, but apparently he hooked Carroll, and Doug Sermons, the lead official, calls an offensive foul.
Yeah, his right elbow completely engulfs the defender's head. Watch Jeffrey Carroll Willis as he comes through his left elbow. He just annihilates the defender. That's the right call. It's a heck of an aggressive move, though. I love the move. I love his attitude.
A great
he was
look.
Just too aggressive.
Yeah, that's just what I was going to say, Mark. Did he really even need to do that to get past the defender with that spin
His
move?
footwork was so good, he didn't need the elbow.
Both teams in a pretty extensive scoring drought.
I think this is advantage Wichita State. The more this turns into a half-court grinded out because of their experience and depth.
That's an offensive foul on Carroll. He lost control. He was out of control with that dribble.
Jeffrey Carroll has taken the ball in the basket 2 consecutive possessions and come up empty on both. Once with a missed layup that was contested, and that time Landry Shamet steps in and takes the charge.
Carroll, who did not play in the first 3 games of the season, really doesn't seem to have found that rhythm he had a year ago when he was second-team All-Big 12.
Look at that Oklahoma State defense, man. They get out and guard you.
Reeves, where's he going to go with it?
Great on-ball footwork. Really good.
Rashard Kelly with the shot clock winding down, stuffs it home.
From Shaq Morris with the good entry pass.
It's been over 5 minutes since the last Cowboys made field goal as we slip under the 10-minute mark.
But Jeffrey Carroll, number 30 in white for the Cowboys, really working hard to hunt his shot. Landry Shamet matched up with him. Here they are.
Carroll fouled on the floor.
Wichita State, this time they got reversal passes. They used the shot clock, and Shaq Morris down low to Rashard Kelly. Good patience that time by Wichita State. Jeffrey Carroll's going to take a blow. He's been working hard offensively to get open.
He had a big game last year against the Shockers in Wichita. Scored 22 points on 8 of 10 shooting. How about that? Mitchell Solomon has now hit his last 17 in a row from the field dating back the last 5 games.
He's an extremely efficient plow horse for the Cowboys.
Just his second made 3 of the season. Nice fake by Kelly, and that presents an open 3 missed by Zach Brown.
Mitchell Solomon with the rebound. The most valuable player for Oklahoma State is number 41, Mitchell Solomon.
Waters looking for Solomon. Has Nerzier on his hip. Solomon again. And the streak comes to an end at 17 in a row from the field.
How good is that?
How good is that? That's a heat check from a post player trying to shoot back-to-back threes. Loose ball.
Great
Solomon
hustle.
diving. Nerzier into the fray. So is Waters. Both these teams giving the effort defensively.
Remember what it says when the Cowboys come into this historic arena. Losers quit when they're tired. Winners quit when they've won. Mitchell Solomon's a winner in my book. Man, he plays hard. By the way, how great is this arena?
It's a beauty.
I love it. I was in Moody last week, which was really cool at SMU. And then I come here and get this kind of like a feeling of a gymnasium down low. And then all they did was literally raise the roof, and they had about 6,000 more seats. It is a cool, cool place for a basketball arena.
Shine couldn't quite get that three to go down. It stays a 5-point lead for the Cowboys. Frankamp. Kelly's pass deflected by Waters. Numbers for Kendall Smith. Giving it up. McGriff in the air. And that's an offensive foul as Austin Reeves is shaken up after taking the charge.
That is a hard charge to step in and take. Austin Reeves, a tough Arkansas dude, decided he was going to do it. We'll be back, talk some more Playing Angry here in Stillwater.
It's Macy's Friends and Family. Get an extra 25% off fine jewelry superbuys, like diamond study.
Yeah, Creighton averaging 19 assists a game. Nice job of Foster stepping in. Kyrie Thomas and Marcus Foster, one of the best backcourts in the country. No one talks about it.
K-State transfer getting the win for Creighton, guys.
Hey, Chris, thanks very much. Cam McGriff was a runaway locomotive a few moments ago, and Austin Reeves was on the tracks.
Austin Reeves from Newark, Arkansas, steps outside. I mean, that is a big-time take the charge. He's built like Pistol Pete, not Pistol Pete here at Oklahoma State. He's built like Pistol Pete Maravich, and that young man, he is a country baller and just stepped up and took that charge. That takes guts.
Cam McGriff is 6'7" and a solid 220 pounds. Reeves 6'5", 175, and has been battling that shoulder issue we talked about earlier. That took some guts.
I love Austin Reeves. He's just a down-home country basketball player.
Shamet trying to fight his way to the rim. Couldn't finish the shot.
That Oklahoma State has really started to attack the rim off the dribble. Wichita State's done a good job taking charge and deflecting the dribble.
Last year's game between these two was a 93-76 final. We are nowhere on pace to match that. 5 to shoot. Spin move by Devon Dillard, who touched it last. A look by Doug Sermons, and that's going to stay with the Cowboys.
Boy, Zach Brown, does he spread out defensively? Hard guy to dribble against, #1 in black, Zach Brown. 3 seconds on the shot clock.
We showed you Cam McGriff a moment ago. Devon Dillard, two freakish athletes for Oklahoma State. It could not get the shot off in time on the 3 attempt by Duzagwa as the clock expired.
Yeah, lack of recognition right there by Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State started 5 of 6 from the field. They're now 6 of 16, so they've gone cold. Shockers 3 of 11 from the floor and have hit only 1 of 6 3-point shots.
And double-figure turnovers for Wichita State. That's the big stat here in the first half. There's another turnover.
Number 8. Make that 11. I fell behind. There have been so many of them. That's going to go over to Wichita State with Dillard holding the ball out of bounds. It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
11 Wichita State turnovers.
Well, you mentioned that Samajay Haynes-Jones has been sick and hasn't played, and he's a north and south guy that can put pressure on this defense. But everything's been half court so far for Wichita State.
Samajay practiced with the team in Wichita yesterday, but did not really participate much in the shoot-around this morning. Shaq Morris underneath. That's a travel, and that's a dozen first-half turnovers for Wichita State.
Credit Mitchell Sullivan matched up with Shaq Morris down low. That's the key matchup inside. Whoever wins that matchup, I think, wins this game.
Everybody that's seen the floor for Wichita State has committed at least 1 turnover except for Connor Frankamp.
He never turns it over.
And Frankamp has only 4 turnovers on the season. 23 assists coming in, 4 turnovers.
Yeah, has a 4.45 assist to turnover ratio. That's for his career.
But his teammates right now have been bitten by that turnover bug.
Monte Morris, #1 guy ever. He's 4.6 to 1.
Right.
It's his turnover ratio. Connor just doesn't have enough minutes.
Carroll 3. First points of the game for Jeffrey Carroll.
That's where he's comfortable, facing up and knocking it down.
Shamet just 0 of 2 from the field so far. And the blocking foul called on the Cowboys. Devon Dillard.
These two teams really take care of the basketball. There's Wichita State, assist to turnover ratio, Oklahoma State as well. These two teams really take care of the ball. They're very, very unselfish. But today, Wichita State really struggling to take care of the basketball. Credit that stingy, nasty Oklahoma State Cowboy defense.
Kelly misses the front end, but gets his own miss. And a Fran Camp 3 is a big shot for the Shockers.
Got him.
Back to a 5-point game with 5.5 minutes to go in this first half. Kelly. Averett gets back with the left hand put in by Rashard Kelly. But at the other end, Morris on the defense. And he'll pick up the foul. That's his second. 16 foul against the Shockers, but the shooting foul and 2 shots coming for Tavares Shine.
But Tavares Shine did not back off from Shaq Morris. He took it right to the rim. And Rashard Kelly jumping the route, gets a layup on the opposite end. How many easy baskets has there been for Wichita State in this game? That's the first one.
Yeah. That says the season. Holiday Hoops back. And we'll have a great matchup on Sunday on ESPN. Roy Williams takes his 11th ranked Tar Heels to Knoxville, taking on number 24 Tennessee. 3 o'clock Eastern, New Pacific tomorrow on ESPN and the ESPN app.
How about the season that Luke May is having?
Yes.
Double guy, so improved. Gone from being just another guy to a go-to guy for North Carolina. Maybe the most improved player in the country from last year this year.
After the trip to the line, 19-14 Cowboys. Well, last year's game, there were a lot of easy baskets. They're not easy to find in this one. Frankamp from inside the line, just off the back rim. Kendall Smith had 4 early points.
Jeffrey Carroll really working hard to get open. There he is. Illegal screen.
And sent Zach Brown crashing to the floor. He's got that left knee wrapped up, but I think he's feeling that, paying the price.
Well, Zach Brown doing a really good job of getting out after Jeffrey Carroll and denying him the basketball. Carroll really being aggressive right there.
Yeah, the point of emphasis on those screens, when you have somebody the length of Gasson and he spreads those legs out, I mean, that's one of the things officials are looking for. If your feet are wider than the shoulders, they're going to catch it.
And the defender oftentimes puts pressure on the screener. That's what Zach Brown did right there, because he's blanketing Carroll coming around those screens. Then you think, well, I'll cheat a little bit, see if I can clip him.
Shamet at the line. Outstanding free throw shooter. 94% this year. He's now hit 17 of 18. He's gotten better at the line every year. Last year was at 80% from the stripe.
He's such a difference maker for this basketball team. He combines the heady acumen of a Fred VanVleet and the shooting skills and grit of a Ron Baker, both now in the NBA, with VanVleet with the Raptors having a heck of a season, by the way. And Baker now getting healthy with the Knicks. Signed a 2-year deal in the offseason with the New York Knicks.
Well, 3-point game. And what's been a very physical first half.
Good defense by Nerzier. That was tough.
So Solomon, after hitting 17 in a row from the floor over a 5-game span, has now missed his last 2 from the floor today.
Good screen by Nerzier.
That's a 3 from Kelly. Long rebound. Kelly tried to throw it off of Solomon, and I think he succeeded in doing that.
Zach Brown, that's a hustle play. That's a play-angry play right there. He never gave up on the play. This is what Wichita State typically does to their opponents. They just outwork you. They out-hustle you. Right there, number 1, Zach Brown. He never gave up on the play. Nerzier was also close en route to the ball.
He's got a tough place to try to inbound that, and he throws it about 85 feet the other way into the backcourt.
It's like a Baker Mayfield pass. Who's up for the Heisman, by the way?
You got to see a Heisman Trophy earlier before the game.
Oh, man, Barry Sanders, that was so cool today.
Still 10 to shoot. That's floated up by Kelly. And Gassan used his length to get over Nerzier, and then he got bumped from behind and fouled by Kelly. Just over 3.5 to play in the first half in a 3-point game.
We'll see you guys at the half.
Chris, appreciate that. Looking forward to the Land Rover halftime report. Well, Duke beaten in Chestnut Hill today, so they're upset. Kansas really doesn't play well at the Sprint Center. They got knocked out in the NCAA tournament there and lost to Washington earlier this week.
And how about a divorce working out? When you look at Loyola Chicago, Porter Moser knocks off number 5 Florida last week, along with Florida State as well. And the Missouri Valley right now is 8-5 versus the major 7 conferences, but it works out just fine because Wichita State now in the Americans won 14 games against the major 7 conferences in the country, the other 6. It's worked out.
And Florida will be taking on Cincinnati out of the American up in Newark after we're finished here. There's a lay-in from Fran Camp. Oklahoma State hit 5 of their first 6 shots. Since then, they are 2 of 12 from the field.
Now, Wichita State has really settled in defensively.
Shine trying to fight his way through traffic. He is fouled by Kelly. Number 2 on Rashard Kelly.
Mark, the American has had some huge wins here in non-conference play. Temple over Auburn earlier this year, UConn over Oregon. There they are, Big 12 with the best record against the major 7 conferences of the country at 17-10. Look 4 down, the AAC at 14-14. Look who's below them, the SEC, the Pac-12, and the Big 10. All against major 7 conference opponents. And when you talk about the American, UConn over Oregon, Wichita State beat Baylor on the road last week. SMU, I saw that game in person. They knocked off number 14 USC. UCF went on the road, won at number 25 Alabama. Temple knocked off Wisconsin. This is a heck of a conference.
Zagwa is going to check in after Shine hits the free throw.
So Oklahoma State plays Wichita State in home and home. Oklahoma plays Wichita State home and home. And Baylor plays Wichita State home and home. What's wrong with Kansas?
You got to ask Bill Self that question.
I'm asking him now. What's wrong with Kansas? Why don't they play home and home? Ohio State's going to play Cincinnati home and home next year. Why not Kansas?
Of course, Kansas losing to Wichita State in the NCAA tournament
That's why.
2 years ago is a big reason why, I'm sure. Yeah, falling. That's going to be a travel. He tried to get rid of it before hitting the ground, but not much that Darrell Willis could do.
With Wichita State being in the American, which is going to be potentially a 5-bid league this year, there's nothing to lose. This is a major conference.
Zagwa lost it right into the arms of Rano Nerzier. That's 10 Cowboy turnovers, 13 committed by Wichita State. Fran Camp, a tough 2.
Now, he wasn't set. He floated on that jump shot. Boy, Landry Shamet really approaching the point of attack defensively with a vengeance.
Long three, DeZagua around and out. Nerger almost fell over Solomon. Here comes Shamet on the offensive end, trying to skip past Averett. It's swung around all the way to Nerger. Got the three.
Really good offense.
Nice ball movement by the Shockers. That's their third made three of the half, and it's a 2-point game. Over the top, Solomon keeps it alive.
Boy, Averett really struggling to get the offensive going against the pressure of Landry Shamet. Number 11 in black versus 0 in white. There's your matchup.
Averett from the free throw line, a fadeaway. A Willis rebound.
The length of Shamet, Landry Shamet, really bothering Averett.
Wichita State has never led. That three would have given them the lead had it gone in for Brown, but it's off the left side and out of bounds. Well, on Tuesday of this week, hosting South Dakota State, Greg Marshall right back in Stillwater, 23-21 Oklahoma State with 1:07 to go till halftime. We'll have to keep an eye on Greg Marshall when he heads to the locker room at the half after what happened earlier in the week.
When you give a talk pregame of who punks who, you pretty much know what the context is of this.
That's what Greg Marshall said about last year's meeting to his team. He said, hey, last year Oklahoma State, they punked us. So he's using the vernacular that the young kids are familiar with. Shamet. Wow.
Ooh.
Oh. Averett came down right on the hip of Shamet. Coming up tonight, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. It's the 83rd annual Heisman Trophy presentation from New York City. Can Lamar Jackson make it back-to-back years? Maybe Stanford's Bryce Love or Oklahoma's Baker Mayfield. You can catch the stream live on the ESPN app. If you're out and about, good to see Shamet up and about. Well, I tell you what, Averett, he came down from about 6 feet in the air right on top.
Boy, that's a really good lift fake by Landry Shamet. That's why Averett jumped up. Look at that. Oh, that is a really good lift fake. Unfortunately, the guy that did the good job paid for it, but I mean, that was a really good fake by Landry Shamet.
Making sure that they are in the double bonus here. One of our officials, Roderick Dixon, came over to the scores table to make sure, hey, that's 10 right, so they're in the double bonus. The 2 shots for Shamet here. If he hits both, can tie this game with 44 seconds left in the half.
Landry Shamet is a true student of the game. You know, when you're coming home from a road trip and guys are sleeping or playing video games, he's watching replays of the games. He's a great student of the game. He's made himself into another coach on the floor. He not only plays the game well, he studies the game well.
Shockers have never led, but it's tied at 23.
This has been a thing of defensive beauty.
Shamet switches on to Carroll, who barreled him over.
What a job by Shamet!
And that is an offensive foul on Jeffrey Carroll.
Watch Landry Shamet move his feet, spread out defensively, and takes the charge right between the ones. That's as good as it gets defensively.
The offensive foul on Carroll, and now with 29 seconds left in the half, the Shockers can hold it for the final shot. So Greg Marshall come all the way up. Say something to Willis. That ball was being inbounded.
They'll try to go inside out with Shaq Morris against the zone, number 24. Oklahoma State goes zone. Watch 24 in the dead zone.
Three. Boom! Shamet gives Wichita State the lead at the half. A strong finish for the Shockers to end half number one. Well, last year when these teams met in Wichita, a much different type game. In this one, it's the Shockers by 3 at the break. Land Rover half. About ready to start the second half from Gallagher-Iba Arena in Stillwater. A 3-point lead for the Shockers, along with Mark Adams. I'm Mark Neely. Wichita State led for only 19 seconds of the first half. Landry Shamet was spectacular. What he did offensively and defensively really categorized the physical play we had in the first half.
It's about leadership. This is a guard who led the Shockers to an NCAA win over Dayton. Why? Because he's willing to do that. Move his feet defensively and take the charge. He was also the best guard on the floor against Kentucky in the NCAA tournament last year because he does that. Big shot moments take big shot players, and Landry Shamet is a big-time player in college basketball.
Oklahoma State started off hot, hitting 5 of their first 6 shots, but then really went cold, 2 for 16, and the Shockers in the half on that 8-0 run to take the lead. This seems pretty strange to say for non-conference foes like these two, Mark, but I don't think there's any question that last year's game has played into the intensity in the rematch this year.
You know, and I'd like to see Oklahoma State get Mitchell Solomon more involved. Number 41 and white right there. He's the guy that catapulted them to the lead early in this game.
Here's a 3 that's put up. It's short by Tavares Shine, but into the hands of Solomon, whose pass is deflected and stolen by the Shockers' Rashard Kelly.
I'm not crazy about that shot to open the hand. I think that it has to be an inside out, get Mitchell Solomon involved early.
Back into the hands of Shamet with 8 on the shot clock. His 3. Didn't get a lot of elevation on it, but enough to get it over the rim and swish.
He's getting back a little bit. Can it be 2? Limping on that right foot a little bit. Remember, he's had lower leg problems.
And he's had a couple of stress fractures. He had a right foot surgery this last summer, and it was a left foot in past years. And of course, Marcus McDuffie, one of their best players, out right now with a stress fracture in his left foot.
He should be back after December 21st.
In time for conference play, their first conference game in the American. It's going to get Nerzier. Number 3, Orano.
I'd go right at him again.
And he's the first player on either side to hit 3 fouls. So now he comes out, and that gets Shaq Morris off the bench. First game this year that Shaq has not started. Nerzier did instead.
I'd get the big old plow horse, Mitchell Solomon. He does the hard work inside and the dirty work defensively. I love this kid.
Solomon sets a screen on Shamet, but he hangs.
Get it to him. There it is.
The jump hook goes in.
That's why.
And that's a part of his game he certainly didn't have a few years ago, that consistent Kareem impression.
He's just gotten better and better and better. And as good as he's become offensively, a 7-point-a-game guy, but important 7 points a game. But defensively, he's never out of position. If you want to learn how to play post defense and team defense, watch Mitchell Solomon, number 41 in white.
Only strange thing about the first half, Solomon did not have an offensive rebound. He's the team leader in that department.
Look at him help right there.
And the double dribble is committed by Zach Brown. Turnovers were a big mess for Wichita State in that first half. And Mike Boynton's team had a bit of an issue with turnovers, but this is just a 35-year-old guy getting his first attempt as the head coach here at Oklahoma State.
I got to watch him give a scouting report as the assistant coach at Stephen F. Austin at UAB. And I sat in that room, but I didn't know Mike at the time, was so impressed with his attention to detail and ability to teach. And here I walk into historic Gallagher-Iba Arena and saw the same coach doing the same thing. What a teacher Mike Boynton is, and there's a pretty good student.
9 for Solomon as he's scored on back-to-back sequences for the Pokes. Shamet says, I can't pass up this open look, but he's short with it, and then looks like they're going to get Brown for a push.
And Mike Boynton, only 35 years old. There he is, the 4th youngest head coach of a major conference team in the country. Born in Brooklyn, played for Eddie Fogler. Eddie Fogler used to be the head coach at Wichita State. He played for Eddie at South Carolina. Mature beyond his years, even at a young age, and a guy with a lot of wisdom. I really like him a lot.
Eddie Fogler is here today, catching this game in person.
He's sitting right behind us. Great coach.
Another foul on Brown. 3rd team foul of the half against the Shockers.
I like what Oklahoma State has done coming out early. They're getting that guy involved.
McGriff. Just his 6th made 3 of the season, but it is a big one to give the Cowboys back to lead. Shamet again from 3 and gets that one to fall and answers.
You always need a sit down and shut up player. Landry Shamet is a sit down and shut up player on the road.
13 points for Shamet.
It's one of the reasons they're the #1 road team in the country. He takes it again.
On Kendall Smith, and again, who was there defensively? Landry Shamet.
He moves his feet defensively. Crowd was up cheering, bangs a jump shot, and then comes down defensively, moves his feet. You have to establish a guarding position. You could be moving, and he establishes his guarding position right in front of the offensive player. It's a charge.
That's 3 on Kendall Smith after that offensive foul.
A lot of fans think you can't take a charge if you're moving. Yes, you can. If you establish guarding position, move your feet, you can take the charge. We've seen Shamet do it twice in this game.
Solomon poked it away. Shamet from the deck able to get it to Shaq Morris, who feeds. Shamet off balance, is going to wave it off. No bucket foul on the floor, the blocking foul. And slow getting up is Shamet.
Well, he does so many good things. Landry Shamet.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
Coach Eddie Sutton, the court is named after him here at Gallagher-Iba Arena. When we talked with his son Scott yesterday, we asked, hey, is your dad going to make it tomorrow? And he said, don't know. We're glad he made it. It's always fun to have Coach Eddie Sutton in the house here at Gallagher-Iba Arena.
Those are some big boots right there. Eddie Sutton won 71% of his games. Of course, Oklahoma State to the Final Four in 2004. A legendary coach. In this legendary arena.
And his son Scott played for him here at Oklahoma State. Scott, longtime head coach at Oral Roberts, now on the staff for Coach Boynton as we play here at Eddie Sutton Court at Gallagher-Iba Arena. Offensive rebound for Shaq Morris.
And Mike Boynton has put together quite a staff. Scott Sutton, John Cooper, former head coach of Tennessee State and Miami of Ohio. High quality, high coaches as his assistant coaches.
The 3 is good, and now the offense starting to click for Wichita State here in the second half.
It's starting to click for Landry Shamet in particular.
Solomon with Morris draped on him, able to find Shine, who with the jump hook scores.
Mitchell Solomon never panics, does he? He
cool
never panics.
As a cucumber.
Keeps his head up, keeps his eyes focused, sees all 5 guys.
Kelly. Solomon stays on him defensively. They find Shamet, catch and shoot 3. Solomon goes to the court, gets the rebound, and here comes Averett. Shine thought about that 3. He'll take a long 2.
Well, that's really a good fundamental play. A lot of guys are going to walk when they catch that basketball. Under control, Shine knocks it down.
He has 13. The lead down to 2 for Wichita State. Run out by Averett. He has Shine with him, taking it to the rim. Reverses, but it's foul. It's going to go on Morris. Well, 'tis the season. Holiday Hoops back. We'll have a great matchup next Sunday on ESPN. Roy Williams, 11th ranked North Carolina in Knoxville to take on Rick Barnes' number 24 Tennessee. 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Tavares Shine had back surgery last year. There was a lot of questions if he'd even be able to continue his career. He had a come to Jesus meeting with Mike Boynton, and they decided he would give it a good go. Boy, is he giving it a great go. Tavares Shine attacks the basket. Gutty guy. Good wingspan defender.
Missed the final 27 games of last year. Came back from the Maui Invitational, the plane ride, and some other issues. He just couldn't get the back on, had the surgery eventually.
Mike Boynton gave him great advice. Go after it hard and no excuses. We're not going to accept any excuses. And boy, has Tavares Shine, has he accepted that challenge and risen to the occasion.
Right now, he's the leading scorer for Oklahoma State this afternoon with 15. Shamet leading all scorers. He has 17.
Well, full court pressure now from Oklahoma State. Let's see if they fall back into a little zone action and cheat toward Fran Camp and Landry Shamet. There they are in the zone. Nope, third straight man. Third straight man. They went soft. They're back into man.
Fran Camp's three is long. Rebounded on the offside. And an offensive foul is committed by Kelly.
Yeah, Lindy Waters the third that time steps in and takes the charge. Another tough dude. I like this kid, number 21. He has a good sense for playing basketball as a defender. He's solid offensively. He's learning how to make shots within the offense. He has good savvy as a basketball player.
Kelly stays in with 3 fouls for the Shockers. You have Nerger and Morris on the bench with 3. Here's a 3 splash down by Lindy Waters.
Pow! We'll explain that later.
Trying to answer, and the lefty does so. Darrell Willis.
He's shooting 50% from deep this year, Darrell Willis.
Yeah, he's now 7 of 13 3-point shooting this year, Willis. In his first attempt of today. Waters just leans in, fires it up from 15 off the glass, got his own miss, and puts it back.
He's lively, isn't he? Yeah. I love his game. Has a great sense for how to play basketball. It's a walk.
Got away with it. And he ties it with the flush. Averett into traffic, just flips it up. Let's see who they're going to give that, either to Fran Camp or Kelly, and it's going to go on Fran Camp.
Let's take a look. It looked like a walk in real time. Hard to tell from where we started it right there. Still can't tell. Either way, it counts as 2 points.
First free throws today for Averett, who's only attempted 11 on the year.
How about Lindy Waters?
Interesting guy. Sophomore out of Norman North High School. Norman, Oklahoma, of the Kiowa and Cherokee heritage. Embraces his Native American heritage.
He certainly does. Lindy Waters the third. Had a great visit with him before the game today. We'll tell you more about that when we get about a minute. Love that kid.
You actually are speaking some of the Kiowa language, which we'll get to. We'll tease it with that.
Pretty impressive, isn't it?
It is.
That's also a walk.
Got away with that.
Yep. That's what I'm talking about. When guys catch it like that, a lot of guys walk with it.
He's on the receiving end of that pass. Shamet, who puts it up and in. Nice feed by Darrell Willis. And a chance for a 3-point play for Wichita State.
Well, Wichita State, when they can reverse the ball against this stingy Cowboy defense, it can overextend and lose backside vision. And Landry Shamet read it perfectly. Whenever a defender turns their head and becomes ball-centric, you cut to the basket, and Landry Shamet just exposed that deficiency defensively.
Carroll picked up his third. Carroll, McGriff, and Kendall Smith, all with 3 fouls for the Cowboys.
Here comes full court pressure now from Wichita State. They'll turn up the heat a little bit. Samaje Haynes-Jones, that's close to 10. That's 10.
Boy,
Close.
he just barely
Close.
got it across. Carroll's three. Reeves undercut his own man. Wait a minute here. I think he saw the wrong number 12. He thought he saw 12, but it was 21, Willis. And I don't think McGriff was anywhere around the play.
Watch the shot go up. The only way they could have gotten McGriff is if they called McGriff for pushing the other black jersey into the play.
That's Mike Boynton talking or trying to from across the court for Marcus Pettigrew, the official who made that call. Shine.
10 seconds, 10 seconds. That's 10. The American against the Big 12. It's only December, but it feels a lot different, doesn't it?
It's a knockdown drag-out here at Gallagher-Iba Arena. And Coach Marshall saying, hey, got to think here. You got to think in between all this physical play that we've had here today, Mark Adams.
And the Big 12 has the best record against the major conferences in the country. Wichita State and the American with the 4th best record. They're 14-14. Wichita State, of course, last week won at Baylor.
Averett off for Carroll. Punched out by Reeves, but Carroll keeps possession. And there is Solomon in the right place at the right time for the Cowboys.
That's the phrase of his career. Right place at right time. Mitchell Solomon.
And there's defensively swatting the shot attempt away.
It's Macy's Friends and Family. Get an extra 25.
Defense as Mitchell Solomon in perfect defensive position, and it's no accident. At practice yesterday, I watched these Cowboys play legitimate man-to-man defense. Oklahoma State Cowboys, you are in great hands because you wear defense on your backside, and you play defense with your feet. It's a fascinating way to get after people, and Mike Boynton is the right guy to coach this team defensively. I love defense on your backside. We just kick somebody's you-know-what.
Backside. This game has been featuring a lot of physical defense on both sides. Gasson in the game. Wichita State, Samaje Haynes-Jones is in as well. He came in prior to the last whistle. He's been battling a flu bug, so seeing his first action of the day.
You know, Mark, when Mike Boynton was given the opportunity to be the next head coach at Oklahoma State when Brad Underwood went to Illinois, the first thing he did was go to visit with Eddie Sutton. And they talked about, they talked real basketball. He wanted the input from the legendary Eddie Sutton as to what he needed to do to be successful and take Oklahoma State to the Final Four in a national championship. They talked all about defense that day. And when Boynton left, he gave Eddie Sutton his word. We're going back to old school. We're putting defense on our backside, just like when you coached.
And you've got the shorts to prove it. 2-point lead for the Shockers. With under 11.5 minutes to go, Averett swishes that from the right side. Tied up at 46, a great game going on in Stillwater. And Nerger, the native of Estonia, from long range.
He has a flair for the dramatic. 2 years ago against Vanderbilt, that's when Ronald Nerger, number 20 for Wichita State, came of age. He makes big shots.
That was his second three of the game. Here's Carroll trying to get his own rebound and fouls Zach Brown in the process. So for Carroll, he is the first player on either side to 4 foul. Actually, I take that back because McGriff picked up his 4th. So you got McGriff and Carroll each with 4 for the Cowboys.
Well, and Carroll, a go-to guy offensively late in shot clock for Mike Boynton. It's a big loss right now.
And still a lot of time to go. We're not even midway through the second half. A little token pressure from the Cowboys that time.
Little zone now from Oklahoma State.
Turning, shooting, short, but Willis strong to the hoop, fouled.
Really good adjustment by Wichita State to roll Shamet to the dead zone. And Darrell Willis, look at these hops. Nobody lays a body on him. That zone defense, if you don't take accountability for laying a body on somebody, that's a problem, especially with Darrell Willis on the floor.
Tonight on ESPN, Bucci and Anderson host Sports Center at midnight Eastern time after the boxing title fight. They'll have Teddy Atlas's ringside reactions after what could be one of the fights of the year. Plus Mel Kiper Jr. and Todd McShay on the risks of drafting Baker Mayfield. The Brown and the Cavs are going to bounce back after seeing their 13-game winning streak snap. That's called coming up with the Johns on ESPN midnight Eastern.
And right after this game, I believe we've got the University of Cincinnati Bearcats against the Florida Gators, right?
We do. Number 5 Florida, number 17 Cincinnati from the Prudential Center in Newark.
Another big opportunity for the American.
A nice attempt to kiss that in by Smith, came back out, but the foul going against Zach Brown. And that's going to put the Cowboys at the line for a 1-and-1 here. Team foul number 7 of the half against Wichita State.
Boy, Mike Boynton has just so much respect for Mitchell Solomon, called him their most valuable player. Defensively, he's always in position. He's consistent. He talks so much on defense. He's Mike Boynton's kind of guy. Dude from Brooklyn. Mike Boynton worked hard for everything he's ever gotten in life.
13 points, a season high for Solomon, a guy who's a mechanical engineering major. So Solomon, a Rubik's Cube is no big deal for that guy.
Yeah, it's easy for him. For me and you, it'd be like
tic-tac-toe or something.
Yeah.
Or that's tic-tac-toe for him. Solomon, a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah. We wouldn't even be close.
No.
It looked like a Christmas tree by the time we're done.
Shamet had it punched out by Smith. It stays with the Shockers. Again, these teams met last year at Intrust Bank Arena. Oklahoma State, quite frankly, last year really kind of embarrassed Wichita State. And Frankamp, he remembers that game. He drains a 3.
Great shot fake by Connor Frankamp.
He's into double digits with 10 points.
It's the biggest lead of the game, isn't it?
For Wichita State, it's a 5-point lead indeed. Cowboys led by as many as 8 in the first half underneath the bucket. Look out. Shine going to the line.
Watch Connor Frankamp and watch his balance offensively as the shot comes out, lift fake, defender goes flying by. Connor Frankamp, just a really good release and never in a hurry. He's learned how to slow down and play at the pace with Landry Shamet, a great 1-2 combination for the number 6 team in America.
2 of 4 3-point shooting today for Frankamp. Outstanding 3-point shooter. Really, he's only had 2 bad 3-point shooting games. There was the Cal game in Maui. That really kind of set him back. He was 1 for 8 in 3-point shooting in that game.
He's so consistent, Mark. I mean, he's a career 40% 3-point shooter, 84% from the free throw line. He's made a 3-point shot in 31 consecutive games.
Which is a school record.
Yeah, and his assist to turnover ratio is over 4-to-1. He's just solid. He deferred to Fred VanVleet and to Ron Baker, played with both of them. But now he's taken on more of an assertive role offensively alongside Landry Shamet, and they love playing together.
Landry Shamet had the record of 29 consecutive games with a 3 for about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Didn't last long, I know that.
Shamet won a game without a 3, and Frankamp rolled right past him and continues that today. He went with the front foot into the front court.
That's not over and back.
But that's not over and back.
The ball never went across.
Shamet. Wow. What a game he is having.
Landry Shamet's mother played volleyball at Boise State. This is a set and a kill by her son. And he likes taking and making big shots at big times. How good was he against Kentucky last year in the NCAA tournament? And
you mentioned the guys that have gone to the NBA from Wichita State. He's going to be another one.
I love Fred, love Ron. He's better than both of them. He's better than both of them. Just telling you right now.
He has now tied a career high with 23 points. Waters. Solomon got undercut a bit by Nerzier, it appeared. That's going to be the fourth on Rano Nerzier. So he is the first Wichita State player to 4 fouls. So he's going to be replaced by Willis.
Well, Willis has had an impact on this game with his quick hops ability on the offensive glass. Nerzier has had a positive spin, his ability to knock down the 3-ball, and a really good help side defender. A lot like Mitchell Solomon that way, always in position.
Solomon hits the front end after the Shockers' 9th team foul. And Solomon stays perfect 4-4 from the line. And it's a 4-point game. Great matchup featuring the American Conference's Wichita State
big
Shockers, the Big 12's Oklahoma State Cowboys. Willis jump stop, got caught up, and they're going to call that a jump ball.
And guess who is in position? Mitchell Solomon again.
Yeah.
Big time screen up top by Shaq Morris. Boom, right there. That's pretty good. I'd like to run into him.
No, thank you.
Me neither. He'd knock me out.
Tough shot. Frankamp a little long. Willis. Foul going back up with it, but a strong offensive rebound from Darrell Willis.
While everybody else seems to be standing around, Darrell Willis is getting off his feet and getting an offensive rebound. He's so quick to jump to the basketball.
Well, he has 3 consecutive double-figure scoring games coming in. He's at 8 points now. This is the front of these 2 shots here.
Well, with 3 top 5 teams losing this week, Wichita State, if they can win on the road in the Big 12 here in Stillwater, they're going to move up a long few spaces in the national rankings.
And Villanova may be the #1 team if they can survive this weekend against the Philly teams. But
Jalen Brunson and Landry Shamet, to me, are the 2 best point guards in the country. Those are the 2 guys that I would want to coach, start my team with if I had my choice.
Long 3, Waters.
Man, I love his grit and savvy. Lindy Waters, number 21 for Oklahoma State.
His second 3 of the day. And Shaq Morris. How about the 6'8", 280-pound low post player? Shine trying to respond. Gasson tips it out. Frankamp looking around. He's going to pull it back for Shamet.
It's a 2-headed monster between Shaq Morris and Darrell Willis. Both of them shooting, coming in this game, 50% from 3. Those are your big guys.
Morris again. That time didn't draw iron, but there was Willis and 1. An offline shot, Mark Adams turned into an offensive rebound and put back. What a game.
How the cast of Wichita State has the 2-headed monster inside. Shaq Morris and Darrell Willis. When you look at their numbers, they combine for 26 points a game. They shoot together 56%, 50 from 3, nearly 12 rebounds a game, and nearly 3 blocks a game. That's the two-headed monster of the number 6 team in America. Soon to move up if they can get out of Stillwater with a hard-fought win here this afternoon. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, still 7.5 minutes to play. Willis trying to complete the three-point play at the line, where he is 4 of 6 today.
Well, Greg Marshall talked about in his preseason comments, pre-game comments, who punks who. Because they feel like they got punked in Wichita last year by this Cowboy team.
Which was their only home loss of the season. It came at Intrust Bank Arena and not at the Roundhouse at Koch Arena, but still, it was one that certainly stung the Shockers.
Certainly got Greg Marshall's attention.
Carroll. Cowboys really needing some offense now. Gone cold.
And a year ago, they could go to Evans. Who's their go-to guy this year? You would think would be Jeffrey Carroll, but this is a team searching for an identity offensively.
Carroll 1 for 8 from the floor today.
It's credit Wichita State defense.
Willis from 18. Crashing in, Kelly looking. Fran Camp will set it back up. Three from Willis.
He shoots that twisting knuckleball. When you're making 50%, I say keep twisting that knuckleball.
Oklahoma State needing the bucket. Still lots of time, but they are down 8. Their largest deficit. Flipped up by Smith. It Karam's out of bounds. It's off the Cowboys.
You know, both of these teams are very deep, but just watching body language, it looks like Oklahoma State's tired right now.
Yeah, that they came out with some great energy when this game began, and then Wichita State matched that, Mark. But here in the second half, they might be running on some fumes here. They've got to find something to recharge them. Fran Camp with the fadeaway. Once again, crashing the boards. Wichita State unable to come up with it. Here comes Carroll on the move, but cannot finish. He's now 1 of 9.
So Austin Reeves took the charge in the first half and then bailed. I think it really fooled the offensive player.
Back to Reeves. 10 on the shot clock. Try to trap him.
Good job.
Waters the steal. Reeves trying to get back, but the jam by Waters. A bucket that Pokes desperately needed. Timeout, Oklahoma State.
Lindy Waters, a Kiowa. And he is battling today here in Stillwater.
Good at it.
He's half Kiowa and Cherokee, and this guy plays like a warrior. I got a chance to visit with Lindy Waters before the game, and I chose one Kiowa word that I could use on the air. It was PAL, P-A-apostrophe-O. We talked about that, and I shared that with him. He looked me in the eye and said, Coach, that's my Native American name. My great-grandfather named me PAL, which stands for third or 3.
And he has that tattooed on his body.
That's right. He has it tattooed on his chest. You know, some things just aren't coincidences in life. I mean, I literally looked through the language and picked one word. It turned out to be his Native American name.
He's
a really neat young man. And I admire the fact that he admires not just his tribe, but he explained to me the value of the tribe is that we are all family. I think we can all learn from Lindy Waters III.
Absolutely.
Pow.
We're going to teach you a second word in the Kiowa language just at some point.
Nice.
Just to keep expanding your
Kiowa
like vocabulary.
I'm excited about that.
Well, over 5 minutes still to go. 6-point game. Second free throw upcoming for Richard Kelly. And he splits the pair. Both teams shooting 50% from the field here in the second half, 11 and 22, but more of those have been threes for Wichita State than on the other edge Trying to change that. A little too long from Waters from long range.
Really good look offensively. I like the screening set. I like the action offensively from Oklahoma State in that set.
Shamet trying to get around Solomon, but that time Richard Solomon picks up the personal foul. $15 points for Solomon. That was his second personal today. 2 free throws for Shamet.
Well, Wichita State, the #1 road team in the country since the 2010-2011 season. They went the Final Four in 2013, 35-0 in 2014, before they lost to Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. Sweet 16 in 2015 when they beat Kansas. 2 NCAA tournament wins in 2016. They beat Dayton, then lost the #2 seed Kentucky as a #10 seed, which was a total joke in the NCAA tournament last year.
Well, the 2 big guys, Morris and Solomon, were crashing into each other.
Well, who's going to punk who? And Shaq Morris just working hard defensively. Boy, they want to deny Landry Shamet the basketball and Connor Frankamp. There's no illegal screen. Really good job defensively by Oklahoma State.
#2 on. Wichita State on that illegal screen.
Oklahoma State's defense is trying to blanket Landry Shamet and Connor Frankamp, and there's the handoff, and he moves right into the defender. That's a really good call by the official. That's how aggressive this Oklahoma State team is right now, getting into it defensively.
So that's 4 on Zach Brown of Wichita State. He joins Nurger with 4 fouls for the Shockers. Solomon's 3.
Short.
Well, he hit his first 3-point attempt, but now he's missed his last 2. We're under the 4-minute mark.
Look how Shamet drags 2 defenders with him. That creates spacing for Wichita State. He's constantly getting 2 defenders that he's dragging with him. Good call.
They get Reeves that time on the travel. Timeout with 3:41 to go. 65-57 Shockers.
ESPN's exclusive presentation.
Clark getting set to lead the Bearcats. They're looking to bounce back from their loss to Cincinnati last weekend, Mark.
Look forward to that, Chris. Of course, Florida ranked 5th. They've already lost this week. The teams you see highlighted have all lost. How high could #6 Wichita get, Mark, if they hang on here in Stillwater?
Well, Michigan State with Miles Bridges and Villanova with Jalen Brunson will be 1 and 2. I think Wichita State would go to #3 if they can survive this tough road trip in Stillwater.
DeZagua, tough 3. Did not draw iron.
Let me give you another top 10 savior. Trayvon Blewett. I mean, they're playing top 10, top 5 basketball right now. They blew out Cincinnati last week. It was never really a game. Cincinnati's really good, by the way. You'll get to see Cincinnati against Florida coming up next on ESPN2.
Saw that graphic that Wichita State hasn't won here in this building since 1957. They've only played here 4 times since then. 1958, 91, 99, and 2001. Lost all 4 of those. So it's been 60 years since they won. In fact, it was just called Gallagher Hall when they played here in 57. Shot clock violation.
Ralph Miller called that in 1957 the best win that he had at Wichita State.
Really?
Yep. That's saying something from the legend Ralph Miller. Of course, Greg Marshall now the winningest coach in Wichita State history, even more wins than Ralph Miller.
So it's been since January of 57. Wichita State has won on this floor.
I'd like to say I remember it, but I was only 6 months old.
Solomon patiently kisses it in.
But I was on the planet, and take credit for that.
I was not.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
many years for
I
making
know.
the
Rub it
play.
in. Rub it in.
And Solomon on the push. That's his fourth. So you got 4 Cowboys now with 4 fouls. Solomon, Carroll, McGriff, and Gassan.
Well, this is the guy that he ain't scared in these situations.
Andrew Shamet out of the Kansas City area.
You know, Greg Marshall's had one of the luxuries of college basketball of developing one of the great closers for a career with Fred VanVleet. And now he's got the same luxury with Landry Shamet.
Shamet with a career high 26 points. Cowboys really need a bucket. Solomon got Shaq in the air, the pass into the corner. Smith driving, and wow, Morris rejected, then offers the hand to help him up.
That was a heck of a block. Watch this. And this is attacking the rim. And Shaq Morris, you know, he jumps out a little bit. See his body moving forward right there? That's why the call was made. If he goes straight up versus out toward the shooter, that's a legitimate block.
And I like the fact, and right now Oklahoma State just can't buy it.
No.
I like the fact he extended his hand because it looked for a moment like he was going to stand over him
and taunt him.
Yeah, but he did not.
Wow.
This to both.
Wichita State gets in your head. I've seen this movie before. They're as mentally tough as any team in America, year in and year out under Greg Marshall.
Beat the shot clock down to 3. Gonna have to put it up. Reeves a 3.
Boom! Dagger!
A minute and a half to go, and the Shockers have opened up a double-digit lead. Shine sees an open lane, drives, scores, and one. And Morris unhappy with that as he's just fouled out. Second time he's fouled out of a game this year.
Shot clock running down. Austin Reeves, a country baller, just drains it here in a country town of Oklahoma, of Stillwater. It's a big-time shot.
Shaq Morris, who's from Oklahoma, went to Edmond Memorial High School. In fact, he won a state title, Class 6A, back in 2013 there. I would make a bigger deal about the fact that his family's made the trip, but these two schools really aren't that far apart in the first place. Just a couple-hour drive between Wichita and Stillwater. Timeout Cowboys. They're down 8 with 1:19 to go.
You've really got to credit Tavares Shine for taking the ball hard to the basket, making something happen, as it seemed like the game was basically done and over, but it's not. Tavares Shine took it right to the rack, draw contact for the traditional three-point play. Shine with a career high 20 points today. He's been a real bright spot for Mike Boynton's bunch.
While we have a moment, let's check in with the studio and Chris Cotter.
Okay, Mark, just a reminder what we've got coming up next. Really good game, Cincinnati and Florida. That game has started over on ESPN News, as you can see on the right. They're playing at the Prue Center. And as soon as you guys wrap things up there at Stillwater, we'll move it over here to ESPN2.
Look forward to that with John Shabby and Fran Fraschilla at Florida-Cincinnati game coming up from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. Florida's probably happy they're not playing that game at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's won 30 consecutive home court games. That's the longest in the nation right now.
Well, the last time Cincinnati took the floor was last weekend when they lost to their crosstown rival, Xavier. And I happen to be Catholic and from Cincinnati, and a Cincinnati grad, by the way. And I understand the sting of that loss for Mick Cronin and the Bearcats. And they bring good big guys at you. They've got quality length. They've got depth. This is a big game for Cincinnati. It's a signature opportunity against the SEC. The preseason poll, Cincinnati was picked over Wichita State by 1 vote to win the American.
Shockers get it into the front court. Now they're going to have to foul. And Averett fouls Frankamp. Not the guy you want to foul and put at the free throw line, but at that point, Pokes just had to get the clock stopped.
He's a career 84% free throw shooter.
Doesn't shoot a ton of free throws this year, just 7 for 7 from the line.
That's perfect, isn't it? I think my grade school math, 8 for 8
100%, yeah.
Perfect, isn't it? Yeah.
That is spot on.
Thought, yeah.
Your math and your Kiowa language vocabulary have really excelled this weekend.
I'm waiting to hear the second word.
I've got to figure that out first.
Okay.
I think I actually had one, did you? Lead back to 10 with a minute 5 to play.
Powell was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great one, especially
since it's his name.
And he's hit a couple of threes today. Maybe he's got another one up his sleeve.
He needs one.
Boy, the lob, Solomon, Shine. He's going to launch it on target, but around it out.
And Nurser really challenged that shot aggressively.
And Solomon kept it alive with the offensive rebound, but time still ticking here. And Averett, it's foul going to the rack. Just 45 seconds to go. You know, these teams played last year in Wichita at Intrust Bank Arena. Oklahoma State won that game 93-76. Coach Greg Marshall of Wichita State told us before the game, we got punked last year.
He called it his most embarrassing moment as the head coach of Wichita State. Sellout crowd in Trust Arena. And it wasn't because Oklahoma State wasn't good. It was because he didn't feel that his team played up to their abilities from an effort standpoint. And if you know Greg Marshall at all, that's going to leave him a lot of sleepless nights.
5th-ranked Florida, number 17 Cincinnati, coming up when we are finished here in the Never Forget Tribute Classic presented by Geico from the Prudential Center in Newark.
Kyle Washington has to come up big in that game. A big guy, left-hander that can go get you offensive glass, can square up and score as well. Jacob Evans, another Cincinnati Bearcat with a well-rounded offensive game. That's a huge opportunity. Now, the American, if Wichita State can hold on here, up 8 with 43 seconds to go, and we've seen stranger things, by the way, the American would be 15-14 versus other major conferences. And then with Cincinnati, and let's take a look at Duke loses today. Jim Christian, what a great win for Jim Christian in Boston College. Kansas upset. What a great win for the Huskies of Washington. And then Florida shocked twice to Florida State, and Porter Moser of those Loyola Ramblers came out with a huge win over number 5 Florida on the road out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Congratulations to Porter Moser, one of the great guys in college basketball.
Frankamp fumbled it and then is fouled by Kendall Smith. .40 seconds to play. Oklahoma State led for over 18 minutes of the first half. Yeah. Wichita State led for only 15 seconds of the first half. What really changed in the second half for the Shockers?
Well, first of all, it all started with the charge that Landry Shamet drew off the dribble in the first half. And then he comes down and hits a big-time 3 at the buzzer to give Wichita State the lead going in at halftime. And then Wichita State played with better composure, better poise. I thought they got rocked a little bit with a roundhouse early in this game. But when you've got a Landry Shamet running your show, that's a cool customer right there.
Wichita State with a 35-26 rebounding edge. They're #1 in the nation in rebounding margin, plus 15. They were second in the nation last year, only to North Carolina.
Plus 15 rebounds a game.
They're not going to perhaps match that, but it's still an impressive total. With just 29 seconds left. The Shocker fans that are here coming to their feet. Smelling the first win in 60 years here in Stillwater for Wichita State. Solomon fouls out with a career-high 17 points. Also added 8 rebounds in his 35 minutes.
So significant American wins. Temple beat Auburn, Clemson, and Wisconsin. Houston beat Wake Forest, but the big win for Houston was knocking off Arkansas last weekend. UConn beat Oregon. SMU beat #2 Arizona at the time, then backed it up with a win over #14 USC. Central Florida, UCF went on the road and won at #25 Alabama. This is a legit major conference in the country.
6th-ranked Wichita State with this win. We'll see where they are on Monday when the new AP rankings come out. Kendall Smith uncontested down the lane. Timeout.
And you got Cincinnati versus Florida coming up. You've got Tulsa taking on Kansas State later on tonight, and another American versus Big 12 matchup.
Folks use their final timeout. Here's a look at what's ahead for the Shockers. The December 30th game is their conference opener in their new conference, the American, at UConn. And they should have Marcus McDuffie back for that game, because they've been playing this season arguably without one of their, if not their best player.
And Houston on January 4th in the Roundhouse. That's going to be fun. Rob Gray is one of the great leaders in college basketball for Kelvin Sampson. That is a team that can be very, very dangerous under Kelvin Sampson. Talk about a team plays angry. They play rabbit at times, Houston.
Shamet was kind of looking around. The horn, the buzzer sounded for some reason, and that was not supposed to happen. So they stopped play. The clock continues to run, but we'll have to get the clock all figured out. Well, when we are finished here, we're going to send you to New Jersey for the Never Forget Tribute Classic presented by Geico. 5th-ranked Florida out of the SEC, 17th-ranked Cincinnati out of the American for the Prudential Center in Newark.
You know, as I watch all the talk about potential NCAA tournament bids, I think Temple right now, I think they'd be in. Houston with the win over Arkansas, they made a believer out of me. I saw Arkansas dismantle a pretty good Bucknell team, probably win the Patriot Championship. Of course, Wichita State, no question. You win at Baylor, you come here, win here. You got Oklahoma next. UCF with the win out at Alabama. They don't have quite the resume yet, but they're certainly working on it with that win on the road at Alabama. I love SMU. I like SMU a lot.
And I love the fact that we're not even in conference play and you're already talking NCAA tournament. That's
absolutely
awesome.
Absolutely. SMU with Shake Milton is legit.
And that's the Wichita State fans applauding Shamet as he comes out.
Now, a lot of orange have left the building, but the yellow is still here.
Career-high 30 points for Landry Shamet. And it's going to be a double-digit win for Wichita State. 78-66. They win in Stillwater for the first time in 60 years. Florida, Cincinnati coming up from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. For Mark Adams and our entire crew, I'm Mark Neely. Thanks for sharing this one with us. So long from Stillwater. Let's send you to New Jersey with Shambi and Priscilla.
And we welcome everybody who is getting a chance to watch Oklahoma State and Wichita State. John Shambi, Fran Priscilla. Welcome inside the Prudential Center. Florida and Cincinnati just getting started.